Sunday, 8:19 a.m. Guys. Let Kajiyama back in, please. Just listen to him and don't question it. If you say so. Kajiyama, you can speak now, I want to apologize. Sun being cloudy and sad. Hinata, I shouldn't have been so overdramatic with you and should have respected the fact that you're with someone else. Okay, it's shush. Let him speak. He has a lot to say. Okay, I'm sorry for acting like one big jerk to you these past few months. I realize that now since I've just been hanging out with Suki, Yamaguchi and Yashi. If you don't want to toss for me anymore, then that's fine. I just want you to play again since I realized how lonely it might have been for you. Hinata legitimately crying for him. My baby. Shuga being emotional. Hinata. Shoyo. Hinata. Hinata. You idiot. I'm the one who should be apologizing. Yes, Kajiyama figured out what happened after Kyoko told him. I was the cause of you being so lifeless whenever we practiced. I shouldn't have rejected you so cruelly and should have taken your feelings into account when I said those words. And I don't want it to happen again. Never. You chose your words well, Kajiyama. Sugawara literally crying his eyes out. Everyone's all back together now. Yes. Also, Tsukishima. Forgive me for doing this, but do you mind if I go over to Hinata's house and just give him a hug? Permission granted. Thanks. Milk Idiot is now offline. Damn, that went by quickly. Still. I'm glad we can play together again. And the sun is happy again. Orange heart. Yeah, orange heart. Indeed, orange heart. He was so stressed about apologizing to him that he decided he should just do it by text. Kags is here, Hinata being a happy son. Suki, you should try hugging people, he's being suspiciously happy in a joking way. The holy shipping trinity doing the thing. Nani. What? Kags told me to say that Suki should make his move while he still can. Wait. Shuga being shooketh. Oh my. Oh, the sun is now offline. Milk Idiot is now online. Hinata just threw a pillow at me. My plan worked, Kags being a sneaky little son of a bitch. The sun is now online. You're so lucky. I'm going to hang out with Suki soon. Oh. Wait. What? Kyoko about to lose her mind. Wait. What? You both are. He scheduled it with me on Thursday. He did. Where are you guys going? He never told me, Suki deadpanning. I never told him, Hinata being a sneaky little cinnamon roll. So he really asked you on a hangout? Yes. And it's just the both of you? Yup. Oh, you two better have fun, Shuga keeping an eye out on him. Shuga. They share a brain. They really do. Make the eclipse happen. At this point, Kyoko knows it's gonna happen. Shook Tangerine. Suki, get ready for your date, please. It's not a date. Why are they so in sync with each other? They just are. Noya. Tanaka giving him the look. Ryu. Noya also giving him the look. What are you two betting now? Daichi shush. Shuga giving him the look. Fine. Hinata pushed me out of his house as he screamed that he wanted to get ready for their hangout. Eager to see me, huh? What? Mamma mia, here I go again. Why do we keep referencing ABBA songs? They probably watched Mamma Mia together. Honestly, they did. That's adorable. The coincidence is that all of us watched Mamma Mia at different times. Wait, Hinata and Tsukishima went quiet. Ooh, Noya eyeing them suspiciously. Wait, they're heading to the train station. Tootles. Hinata smiling like a sneaky child. The sun is now offline. Shrimpy really wanted us to leave early. The moon is now offline. Well, I hope they have fun. I definitely think they're gonna have a lot of fun. Stalk them and I'll throw a slipper at you. Shuga. PFFT. Yes, mother. Noya and Tanaka being scared of their mother. Our ship will finally sail. Yashi happily crying. Yes. Kyoko crying out of joy. Finally. Yams relieved that Suki is gonna have a man soon.
While they placed themselves on the train, they both put away their phones in their pockets as they eyed each other. They both looked very complimenting, especially the fact that it was January of 2013, with the winds just being somewhat chilly, yet also welcoming for the new year. Yes, this is what they looked like. Tsukihina was dressed very eloquently, whilst Hinata dressed in a way where he was being both casual and chic. Again, they both gave eyes that said that they looked good in the outfits they chose for the special occasion, and couldn't help but grin. Their train ride to the first destination Hinata was taking him to was silent but comfortable. This was the kind of silence they liked to have with each other at times when they were alone. Soon, they reached the stop of their first destination, with Hinata dragging the blonde by the hand excitedly. He clearly was very impatient. "Slow down, Tangerine!" Tsukishima exclaimed with a laugh, keeping up with the ginger's insane stamina as best as he could. He knew that his little son would have a tendency to get excited over hangouts, but this one in particular had him the most excited. "How am I supposed to when I know you love this?" he exclaimed in response, his running quickly turning into walking. Their first location wasn't too far from the station, and it was quite a big location. That meant he was gonna ask Tsukishima to close his eyes. "Tsuki, close your eyes for a moment, okay? I'll take you inside the building." The taller male was hesitant, but he did it anyway. The ginger guided him by the hand on the sidewalk, making sure to avoid people that were walking by. The blonde just followed suit, carefully following along with him, not wanting to let go until they got to their destination. Hinata eyed the large building nearby with excitement, but kept quiet. Nearing the building, he took Tsuki up the ramp next to the stairs, quickly taking him to the entrance. I just realized that I said Tsuki instead of Tsukishima, but we're gonna ignore that. They then finally stepped inside after the ginger took him inside, before letting out a satisfied sigh. Why did I even write it like this? Oh my god. "Okay, you can look now." Despite not letting go of the taller male's hand, he watched as the blonde slowly opened his eyes, then widening quickly after he realized where he had taken them to. "You brought me to the one place I've been dying to go to since I was little?" Hinata looked at him, his eyes widened as well. He's been wanting to go here since he was a kid? "You've never been to this dinosaur museum before?" Tsukishima shook his head at that, before smiling gratefully at him. "No, I never got the chance. But since you brought me here for the first location, do you mind if we take pictures of each other?" he suggested, then pulling out a violet Polaroid camera from his bag, and the ginger just smiled. "Why not? Let's do it on our phones as well." They made their way around the museum, examining the fossils that were put on display in the building. Tsukishima was more than thrilled about the variety of dinosaurs he saw. From the most common ones like the Stegosaurus, to the rare ones like the Cosmoceratops, although they had only one, yet perfectly preserved fossil of it. Tsukishima also happily taught Hinata how to identify them, despite the fact that the ginger had his interest somewhere else. And it was the blonde smiling excitedly. Hinata really was glad that Tsukishima could let down his walls enough to be this all warm and bubbly around him, and also talking about one of the things he likes. "Hinata, stand over there and give me a smile. Maybe do strike a pose while you're at it," he requested of him, and the ginger quickly went over to where he was gesturing at. Hinata leaned back on his left leg, putting more weight onto it than his right, which was partially sticking out in front of him. He gave Tsukishima a smile before doing one of his signature poses in figure skating. His left arm situated just underneath his underarm, his left hand relaxed as it was pointing downwards. His right arm was placed above his head, his fingers on his hand spread out, and the palm of it being completely flat. It was a move he did when he performed to El Tango de Roxanne back in the 2009-2010 season. Tsukishima beamed, then took a picture of Hinata doing the unique pose. He was definitely going to give him a copy of the image. They both continued to take pictures of each other as they explored the museum, as it was incredibly large, and they took their time. They had already spent enough time in order for it to turn into 1 in the afternoon. "Tsuki, let's eat at the boba cafe around the corner. They have one just in case the visitors spend a long amount of time here," he suggested, and the other nodded at him, putting away his camera. They both walked to where the boba cafe was at, having quiet small talk as they walked there. Reaching it, they noticed that the place was pretty as hell and perfect to do a photo shoot at. "Kay, give me strawberry!" Hinata exclaimed, making a motion that he was gonna claim a table for the two of them since there weren't many people in the cafe, but more people looking around at the exhibitions. Tsukishima turned to the person behind the counter and asked for 2 strawberry boba drinks and 2 strawberry Nutella waffle desserts for the both of them as well. He waited at least 20 minutes maximum for their orders, getting trays so that he could carry them. "Shoyo, help me with your tray, please." He called to him with his first name, causing the ginger to immediately get up from where he sat at and walked over, taking his tray of the same order from the blonde. He led him to their table shortly after. "You chose the perfect spot yet again," he pointed out, noticing that Hinata had chosen a spot in the corner of the place, with their seats being cushion-like seats that were built onto the wall. It was also a corner seat as well. "Well, if it helps, we could just sit on the cushion seats and take pictures together or of each other." They did just that, taking a picture of their same meals before Tsukishima brought out his Polaroid camera, taking a picture of himself and Hinata, taking out the produced image afterwards like always. Also, Tsuki has 1,000 films in his bag that he could use for the camera, and extra batteries too. This is all for the fact that he wanted to take 1,000 pictures of Hinata. Their first bite of their food, they both experienced an undeniably great amount of bliss as they ate. "Hey, this is amazing!" he exclaimed, his cheeks a gentle rose color as he looked at the blonde, smiling at him brightly. Tsukishima covered his face immediately at the smile, chuckling, before complaining, "That smile of yours is too bright. Tone it down a little, stupid." He earned a smack on his arm afterwards, and a fuming sun. They both laughed it off and enjoyed their desserts. Their drinks were just as astounding as well, having finished it at the same time as they finished their waffle desserts. They went back to looking around the entire museum, checking out all the exhibitions one more time before they decided to leave. "Is the next location just as impressive?" he asked, following closely behind the ginger, who just grinned at him. "I believe so. You're going to love it maybe a bit more than the museum. We're just going to walk there for half an hour." Walking for half an hour? Fine by him. He was willing to do it since Hinata took him out on this day. He was already going to take him out for dinner right after their second location. It was a good way to walk off more of the heavy dessert they ate, so they didn't hesitate to take the 30-minute walk. The walk to their next location was pleasant, though Hinata did say that he wasn't going to ask him to close his eyes, thinking that he should see it in person. "Regardless, I'm treating you to dinner as promised. I was already more than satisfied with the first location." He noticed that Ginger's cheeks turned pink after he said that, which made him almost grin at that. He might as well tell him today. After their 30-minute walk, Tsukishima's eyes shifted over to where Hinata was looking at. Another big building, but seemed to be more in the shape of a dome than the dinosaur museums, and it was a bit smaller in comparison as well. "We're here! Now I can finally show you the one place I've been wanting to go with you since we started to get along." There was a fondness in his tone that the taller male could pick up. It seemed as if the ginger really wanted the both of them to go here, and only them. And he already knew why. He could feel it. Taking him by the hand, Hinata led Tsukishima to the building. It was a place where they could look at the projections of the night sky, examine the constellations, and learn some things from astronomy. This place would have also been perfect if Yamaguchi and Yachi came along as well, but that would be for another time. They made their way inside, and due to the fact that it was their first time being in such a building, they were in awe of the scenery before them. They felt like everywhere they looked was just a piece of outer space. Truly, it was certainly magical and otherworldly. Tsukishima's golden brown eyes held as much awe as the amber ones of Hinata's. Subconsciously, he took the ginger by the hand, beginning to drag him around the place, his eyes filled with curiosity and awe. He desperately wanted to explore the area with him. "Is that the maps of our zodiacs?" Right he was on that. There was a big map that showed the Libra constellation and the Gemini constellation. Hinata's eyes widened in realization, recognizing the strange shape of his constellation. "It is! Can we take a picture together here? Make sure you do 2 of them so we can both get authentic copies of us during this day." Tsukishima silently pulled out his camera and pulled Hinata closer to him, an arm around his shoulder as he positioned his camera far enough away from them. With the pressing of a button, he took the picture and waited for the camera to produce an image before handing it to Hinata, who put it away immediately. Tsukishima took another one and repeated the routine, before beginning to pull the ginger by the hand. He wanted to lead him to other locations again. They repeated the same things they did back at the dinosaur museum, but with even more pictures being taken and also learning about certain things behind the universe itself, becoming easily fascinated in astronomy. Shoyo. He addressed him by his first name again, causing the ginger to jump in surprise. Yes, Tsuki? He asked, only to get the response of, You really are the sun in my life. Hinata's cheeks turned pink, and he quietly looked down at his feet, playing with his hands as he tried his best to register what he said. You're the moon to my sun, though. Now they both are red in the face, though they both took it the same way as the other, a subtle way to say that they both were in love with each other. They quietly continued their journey through the building, examining several exhibitions and taking several pictures at them. Almost every single time, they almost shared a kiss without their knowledge, but they somehow always managed to slip past them. Tsukishima then pulled his phone out and called a restaurant, then making a reservation for a table of 2 at the restaurant. It was for him and Hinata, since he wanted to keep his promise and give him a gift. This was his way of saying thanks for everything that's happened between them. Thank you. We'll be there by 7. He hung up shortly after, then noticing that the ginger was staring at him in shock. You reserved a table for us at that restaurant? The blonde grinned at him, giving him a slow nod. He could literally spoil Hinata as much as he wanted, and he still would have enough money to buy him a diamond-studded necklace. We still have an hour left before we have to get there. Plus, it's only 5 right now. Our seating and time for dinner is at 7. Hinata looked at him as if he was insane. He quickly grabbed Tsukishima's hands and scolded him. Tsuki! Stop spending so much on me! His scolding was ignored, unfortunately. I'm showing my thanks to you this way, Shoyo. You better continue to be happy for as long as I'm here and still with you. At that statement, they both smiled, then exploring the last bit of the building, just in time for them to leave. Tsukishima then grabbed Hinata by the hand and started to walk him to the restaurant. It was actually quite near, and it gave him a chance to ask him about his figure skating career. Are you planning to continue for this season? Hinata shrugged, unsure if he would, but he knew very well that he trained in secret with his coach. I don't know, but I think I can balance it all out. The blonde patted his head as they reached the restaurant. Upon entering, they were instantly escorted to their table the moment Tsukishima said his name and a table for 2. Hinata was mostly in awe of the place around him. Tsuki, you didn't have to... He was cut off by the blonde putting a finger to his lips, telling him to be quiet. The ginger obliged, nodding as his chair was pulled out for him. Tsukishima made his way to the other side of the table and sat down at his seat. Their menus arrived soon after, and Hinata's eyes almost popped out of his eye sockets upon seeing the prices of the dishes. The blonde was grinning on the other hand, because he knew damn well that he was, dare I say, wealthy enough to spoil him. Shoyo, just order, he said in a commanding tone, and the ginger rolled his eyes, sticking his tongue out at him in response. They both laughed, then went into ordering the dishes they wanted to try. A waiter arrived not too long after and took their orders, heading off to the kitchens shortly after. The two were then left alone yet again at their table, staring at each other in silence. Say, why choose to have dinner at this place? Hinata asked, placing his arm on the table and letting his hand rest underneath his chin. He stared at him, tilting his head in confusion. Little did he know that this was the very dinner where Tsukishima would confess his feelings to him. Taking a deep breath, he began to speak. Well, I have a confession to make. A confession? The ginger's eyes widened slightly as his cheeks turned pink. He had an idea of what he meant, but he wasn't too sure. Yes, but I'll tell you when dinner is finished. Hinata pouted, causing Tsukishima to get up and squish his cheeks, mumbling the words, cute adorable ball of sunshine over and over until the ginger almost fainted. Their orders arrived, and Hinata couldn't help but admire how mouth-watering the food was. They then said their thanks and began to eat. As they ate, the two of them were holding yet another conversation about figure skating. Ice dancing came naturally. Jumps are something I can't really do since I didn't train for that. But I can be both an ice dancer and figure skater if you wanted me to. My coach taught me some things since he also teaches ice dancers. Tsukihina smiled, now having an idea of what he could say to Hinata later, considering that he'd tell him after dinner. He put his hand in the pocket of his jacket and pulled a small box out of it. He paused eating to open it, then chuckled. That box contained matching jewelry for the both of them, as he somewhat had a feeling that Hinata would say yes to what he was going to ask him later. "Kay? What are you looking at?" He put the box back into his pocket quickly after that. "You'll see it after dinner." Hinata whined, but he had to follow what he said, despite his ever-growing curiosity. Dinner finished, and the two remained at their table, staring at each other in silence. Tsukishima then got up from his seat, walking over to Hinata on the opposite end of their table. He grabbed him by the hand, pulling him to stand up. "Shoyo, I've been meaning to tell you," he started, his left hand bringing itself over to the ginger's right cheek, cupping it gently. The male's cheeks were burning up at these small, intimate actions. Their eyes then locked gazes, right when the blonde then continued, "I've been in love with you since the first moment I saw you." Hinata's eyes widened just as his blush darkened. You have?" he asked in disbelief, whilst Tsukishima laughed, taking out the box and opening it, grabbing one of the pieces of jewelry from it. He showed it to the ginger, who gasped as he saw what it was. "Be my son for as long as you can?" It felt like a proposal, but this kind of confession was perfect for him. With a smile, Hinata tiptoed and placed a small kiss on the blonde's cheek. "As long as you join me for the eclipse that would last for an eternity." Tsukishima then placed the sun necklace around Hinata before taking out the moon necklace, squatting down a little for Hinata so that he could put it on him too. When they put the necklaces on each other, they gave each other a tight embrace before the moon then closed the distance with the sun. Thus begins the era of an eternal eclipse, bounded by the love of the sun and moon.